What if the world didn't begin with God's hurling thunderbolts, or with the crackle of divine fire, or even with the life-giving flow of water? What if instead it began with something formless, force without boundary, without shape, and without a name? This is the story of Anaximander, philosopher who refused to accept the answers handed down by myth or even by his own teacher. A man who declared centuries before modern physics would echo the same, that the universe was born from the infinite. Picture ancient Miletus, a thriving city alive with trade, new ideas, and ambitious thinkers. Among them was Anaximander, a brilliant pupil of Thales. But while Thales believed everything arose from water, Anaximander found that answer too narrow. He asked a deeper question. If there is a first principle, a primal source, shouldn't it be beyond all qualities? Water, after all, is wet and cold. How could that produce fire, or dry land, or the heat of the sun? And so, Anaximander proposed a daring, radical idea. He named it Apeiron, which means the boundless, the infinite. Apeiron was not water, nor air, nor fire. It had no edges, no shape, no beginning, and no end. It was raw potential, an eternal, undefined source from which all things emerge and to which they all eventually return. To the minds of his time, this was revolutionary. No longer was the world explained by familiar elements or by the moods of a god, but by a force deeper than anything you could see or touch. Anaximander's courage to think beyond the familiar didn't stop there. He proposed that Earth floats freely in space, unsupported by water, not held up by a giant, not carried on the back of a turtle, just suspended, perfectly balanced, at the center of the universe. No myths, no monsters, just reasoning. He was among the first to attempt drawing a map of the world. A bold move to see the land and seas as a connected whole rather than fragments. And he was even more audacious when he looked at life itself. Anaximander suggested that human beings must have come from aquatic creatures, because human infants could never survive on their own if they were born the same way from the beginning. Long before Darwin, Anaximander glimpsed the logic of evolution, proposing that life must have developed from simpler, sea-dwelling forms. His mission was clear: explain the world with principles, not with legends. In doing so, he became one of the first theoretical physicists, using the mind rather than the myth to understand reality. But here's where it gets even more astonishing. This notion of Apeiron, the infinite and boundless, still sounds strikingly modern. A timeless, shapeless, eternal something from which the universe was born, that feels eerily similar to what today's cosmologists call the quantum vacuum, or even the singularity before the Big Bang. Was Anaximander somehow glimpsing a truth that physics is still chasing? Anaximander envisioned a cosmos not as a gift from jealous or generous gods, but as a grand cycle of birth, decay, and rebirth, all emerging from an eternal, infinite source. Next time you stand beneath the night sky, surrounded by stars that seem to stretch into forever, remember this. Long before telescopes, before satellites, before rocket ships or equations, there was one man who looked up and saw the boundless,